26%. On the nation report part, that the percent you below for 12th grader for the subtraction in math. In America, we had everything as an exceptional country, but the 26% sound exceptional to you. Raise your hand if you think as the country we need to do way better than that. I am with you.
We all need math, but why are so many kids confused by it? Is it because only 26% of people are 100 for math, while 74% are not? After working with thousands of kids, I can tell you this isn't discussed at all. Kids don't understand math because we've been teaching it as the human subject. But if we make math human again, it will start to make sense again. You were probably wondering, how was math ever human in the first place? Something about it. Math is a human language, just like English, Spanish, or Chinese, because it allows people to communicate with each other. Even in ancient times, people needed the language of math to conduct trade, to build monuments, and to measure the lands for farming. This idea of math as a language isn't exactly new. A great philosopher once said, the laws of nature are written in the language for mathematics. So you see, even Galileo agrees with me. But somewhere along the line, we've taken this language of math, which is about the real world around us, and we have abstracted it beyond recon. And that's we kids are confused. Let me show you what I mean.
Read this third grade Californian math standard and see if it would make sense to an 8-year-old. Understand a fraction 1 over b as the quantity formed by one part when a whole is partitioned into b equal parts. Understand the fraction a over b as the quantity formed by a part of size 1 over b. And if you give this description to an 8-year-old, you'd probably get a reaction like this. To a math expert, this standard makes sense. But to a kid, it's absolute torture. I choose this example specifically because fractions are foundational to algebra, trigonometry, and even calculus. So, if kids don't understand fraction in elementary and middle school, they've got a tough road ahead of them in high school. But is there a way to make fractions simple and easy for kids to understand? Yes, just remember that math is a language and use that to your advantage. For example, when I teach 5th graders how to add and subtract fraction, I start with the apples plus apples lessons. First I ask, what's 1 apple plus 1 apple? And kids will often say 2, which is partially correct. Have them include the words as well signed as a language. So it's not just 2, it's 2 apples. Next is 3 pencils plus 2 pencils. You all know that pencils plus pencils give you pencils. So everyone, how many pencils?
5 pencils is right. And the key is you included the words. I tried this lesson with my 5-year-old Miss Wan. After she added pencils and pencils, I asked her, what's 4 billion plus 1 billion? And my aunt overheard this and she scolded me and said, are you crazy? She is in kindergarten. How is she supposed to know 4 billion plus 1 billion? And then said, Manis finishes counting, looks up and says, 5 billion? And I said, that is right, it is 5 billion. My aunt just shook her head and laughed because she did not expect that from a 5-year-old. But all you have to do is take a language approach and math becomes intuitive and easy to understand. Then I asked her a question that kindergarteners are definitely not supposed to know. What's 1/3 plus 1/3? And immediately she answered, 2/3. So if you're wondering, how could she possibly know that when she doesn't know about numerators and denominators yet? You see, she wasn't thinking about numerators and denominators. She thought of the problem this way. And she used 1 apple plus 1 apple as her analogy to understand 1/3 plus 1/3. So if even a kindergartner can add fractions, you better believe that every fifth grader can do it as well.
Just for fun, I asked her a high school algebra question. What 7x squared plus 2x squared? And the five shared correct the answer 9x squared. And she didn't need any exponent rules to figure that out. So when people say that we are either hardwired to or not, it's not true. Math is a human language, so we all have the ability to understand it. We need to take a language approach to math urgently because too many kids are lost and are anxious about math, and it doesn't have to be that way. I worked with an angry, frustrated high school student once who couldn't pass algebra because she only knew 44% of her multiplication facts. I told her, that's like trying to read and only knowing 44% of the alphabet. It's holding you back. She couldn't factor or solve equation, and she had no confidence in math. As a result, the teenager had no confidence in herself. I told her we have to start with multi-kit.
Because once you know all of you have it your part, everything gets easier and they will be having a fastback every happy ride in Disneyland. What do you think? And she said, okay. But she systematically learned the timetable in 4 weeks, and yes, even a multiplication has the language embedded in it. You'll be surprised how many kids don't realize 7 times 3 can be spelled out as 7 times 3, which just means 3 7 times, just like that. So when kids see this way, they quickly realize that the repetition is slow and inconvenient. So they grab the memorize that 3 7 times, all the way to 21. The further teenager worked out tricks to dropping out, becoming fluent and confident in multiplication with the game changer, because for the first time, we can focus on the problem solving instead of counting on the finger. I am now says at the corner when she is figured out that we are currently at $445 a month will cost you $10,680. And she's looking at me disapprovingly and said, it is a policy. That's expensive. At that moment, not having one causing problem for her, but she looks giving a man to solve problem as the reason to adopt.
As an educator, it's my duty to challenge kids to be tirely you with this challenge. Our country stuck at 26% subtraction, and I challenge you to pass the number high. This is important because mathematical thinking not boiled your mind, but our kids needed to imagine and develop their future. Meeting this challenge can be as simple as apple plus apple. Insist that we teach math the human language, and we will get there sooner rather than later. Thank you.